Good morning! Well, it's actually almost midday now, but a good morning nonetheless to you. So, let's get into it. You have to excuse me today, I'm a little bit out of it, low on energy and all that. I might be coming down with something, but I shall persevere and make yet another of my silly little videos. Hopefully you will find it enjoyable. So, today I was going to talk a little bit about HTML. And something that a colleague of mine has said to me so many times, an ex-colleague now actually. And if you're watching this, Mark, I hope you are doing amazing and that your family is, doing the sort of family stuff that it should be doing. I hope everything's going well. Miss you lots, actually. And it's not in a gay way, it's just in a hey man, you're looking okay man type of way. Anywho, so Mark used to tell me something which I thought, like any time we talked about web, front-end development or anything like that, he would say this without fail, every single time. The web, or like the way front-end development works today, like the web it's a dancing dog. And basically what he meant, or rather the explanation we got, like, well, what do you mean? Why is the web a dancing dog? Well, it was never like it's great that like everybody is amazed at the fact that the dog can actually dance. It's not doing it very well, but it's amazing that it can actually dance. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth or anything like that, but the way that he's explained it, as I understood it, is that the original intention behind HTML and the browser and how all this works is that it was designed to provide actually scientific documents, so that like scientists and military and like people, like a very specific range of people actually had access to information. The use case was very, very specific, but today HTML has all kinds of tags. The web document is nowhere to be found. Most of the time the elements, the original intention around a lot of elements like the div and the spans and like all this stuff, there's no semantics anymore. You will hear the term semantic web development from some really purist or old timers who are like really, I don't know, they've been in the game for long enough to know what semantic markup actually meant. It was actually an interview question once, and so if you ever get into that, I'll give you the definition that I was taught. Semantic markup is that by looking at a layout in your browser, you should be able to infer what tags are used in order to make that layout, because the power of CSS and HTML is that you can make almost anything look like anything. So I can actually make a like a bullet list out of spans and divs and all other possible stuff, but semantic markup would mean that I actually use the UL element with list items to make it look the way it's supposed to look, so you can kind of see the code in your head. Now, I absolutely agree. And another funny comment from my colleague has been that, the web is so hard. The reason why we're all employed, like it's so bad and so horrible that you have tons of people, like most of us developers who do web work, we only have a job because how horribly designed the web is. And I usually had the argument that, well, Mark, the thing is that, because he would always make the argument that you can standardize components. Like Microsoft did this way back when, like they had a standard for scroll bars, and standard for headers and drop down menus. Like these components are just being made over and over. And I agree, like he is absolutely right. These things are getting made over and over and over. And it's not the greatest thing in the world, but the thing is that you have to kind of remember, and maybe that's maybe this is like a dialogue between like engineers and like everybody else, because we, just as every business, just as every person wants to be their own brand. that's what this is about. I argue the reason why we remake these things over and over is because everybody wants to look their own. They want things to look their own way. They want the look and feel to behave in a certain way. Some things are great. Some for standardization, some components are truly standard, and like people just have a way of, you know, they kind of, this is the way we want things to work, and you know, then we can actually have a generic component. It's actually fun that I really liked what Material UI is doing, and Google and Facebook and Apple, they are very good at, I think that they are actually realizing this, and they have for a while, so they're trying to push like standards onto the developers of the world that are consuming their stuff, so that we can start like stop this remaking of things and kind of standardize and make things consistent, because it makes things so much easier for everybody. Because let's remember that, you know, the users, they're usually kind of, as long as things work very nicely, they're kind of fine with whatever we give them, as long as it, you know, it helps them achieve the value that they want with our application. And for all of this, I have one thing that I would like to add to the conversation, which is, I agree, the web as it is, we're getting to a point where we're almost like, it's almost hilarious how far it's gotten. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I feel like we're in this, like, it would be nice if we had a nicer platform to do a lot of the stuff we want to do. But HTML is fucking awesome. I said it. And the reason why I think HTML is awesome, and it's not just HTML, like XML and so forth, like the idea of this tag system, I just had this, like the other day I was thinking about it, and I realized how powerful and how extremely well thought out it is. I don't know if it was intentional or whatever, but I have never ever come across something as well designed as the tag system in HTML. And the reason why I feel this way is because if you think about it, you can through this tag system, you can virtually express any layout that you want. It is through these tags and through the nesting of this, that composability galore. It's actually funny that React and all the stuff that's coming from functional is, you know, and I think that was I actually argue that's one of the biggest reasons why React became so popular. They reused the tag system. They reused basically HTML as it is, because HTML is a really good solution to expressing a structure that can be parsed and then rendered to a page, or in XML it can actually be, I'm a JSON guy like everybody else. I love JSON. I think we should be using JSON, but I will also say that there are things that XML is better at than JSON. And I think that one thing that is lost in JSON is, it's not impossible to do it, but JSON, at least in XML, you have semantic names for most of the stuff that is coming over the wire, which makes it very easy for you to express semantic and meaning on the data that you're sending. It's not that easy to do. It's not as straightforward to do that in JSON. If you have an array with different objects, it's not so clear what those objects are supposed to semantically mean in the context of what you're using it for. You can absolutely come around, go around this, but yes, this is just a small, little bit of an opinionated thought of mine. But this little video of mine is really about talking, to kind of acknowledge how, regardless of how because I agree with Mark, it's a horror show very often to build complicated applications as a front-end developer and with the tools we have. And there are so many problems with CSS and JavaScript and browser compatibility. It's getting better. I'm not a naysayer. Don't think that I'm a naysayer at all. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just acknowledging that I can understand somebody who feels that the web is horrible, because it's not. There are so many things that aren't great. But HTML is not one of them. I really think it's a very underappreciated piece of technology. It's like, I think very few people stop and just think about how genius the tag system actually is. And frankly, without it, all the other stuff wouldn't matter. None of it would matter. So yeah, this is basically a small HTML appreciation video. Hope you enjoyed it.